Developing legs through kicking. Learners. Kicking is advanced by having the swimmers travel further down the pool without assistance. Here the butterfly kicking action, sometimes called dolphin kicking, is demonstrated well at the learner level. Arms should be held at the side in this drill, but can be stretched forward in more advanced work. Notice how the action is initiated from the body midsection. Hips and toes should just break the surface in the undulating movement. Examples of breaststroke kicking are shown here. You can see that the children are still having trouble getting the action right. The kick is invariably much too wide and in some cases not simultaneous. Also, the feet do not point out properly. Corrective action can be taken by getting the children out and on the side, lying on tummies and practicing the correct movement. Use your hands as necessary to manipulate the feet into the right position. However, note from the video, you do not work the feet. The pupil does the work by pushing back onto the teacher's clenched fists. Here we see how to work a group on a backstroke kick. As always, keep all the swimmers working as much as possible. Encourage the children to keep the hips and the bottom up at the surface.
You need to make bubbles. Push up your bottom, bring your feet up, make bubbles. Off you go, Elise.
Toes are pointed backwards and make a small splash. Be careful not to kick in a bike riding motion. Instead, the knees should stay below the surface.
Toes, not knees. Keep your knees down. Toes. Knees down. Good girl. Ready to go.
Hands can be at the side and later placed above the head in streamline. The teacher can use a pole for the swimmer to see and focus on and follow the swimmer, encouraging them to keep the toes up. Here we see it being done in conjunction with an arm action, but kicking alone is also good. Teaching tip. Kick your feet. Toes should be level with the head. Bubbles with your toes. Freestyle kick development remains very similar to backstroke, although it is better to keep the arms outstretched in front rather than by the side. Use a mannequin to show how the children should quickly lift and lower their head for a breath when doing this skill. Improvers and swim well. Distance builds up and skills grow as the swimmers move through the stages. More advanced kicking must be demanded at improver and swim well levels. Butterfly can be seen here. It can be effective to have children go side by side, two at a time in the lane. Try working with hands outstretched as well as by the side, also the same movement both underwater and at the surface. The backstroke kick is now developing well, with good body alignment, head back, knees down and a small splash with the toes. Notice that some children will still be cycling or letting the knees come out of the water. Teachers must address this as a matter of urgency, and an out-of-the-water demonstration and manipulation is a good method to do so. Similarly, have the swimmers hold a float over their knees so that they understand that if their knees touch the board when kicking, they are performing incorrectly. Freestyle practices are still very similar to backstroke, but on the front with the arms forward and face in the water. Breaststroke kick can progress by the child holding a small kickboard in each arm, and following a demonstration by the teacher, moves down the pool doing the correct action.
So use control here, in front of your face. So you're leaning forward but your head is up. Alright, or if you've got one, it's just like this. And we're going to bend our knees. Watch the demonstration. Bend the knee and push. Bend the knee and push.
Again, work on the pool side for teaching to the whole group or individual corrective action is an excellent way to help the swimmer learn this difficult movement. Notice how the teacher still needs to physically correct the movement with some swimmers. Pupils return to the water for more practice and if skilled may reduce to one float or none. A bad breaststroke kick is one of the major faults of swimmers in the early stages of swimming club training, and therefore it is essential that swimming lesson teachers demand high standards on this skill. Maintain patience as it will take some children a long time to get it, but never ignore poor practice in the pupils. Teaching tip. For young children, it is good to suggest that whilst doing breaststroke kick, we say, "We are not kicking anymore, we are pushing." You can't kick with pointy toes, plantar flex. You have to push with flat feet, dorsiflex. This is why we should often refer to the breaststroke as the pushing stroke. because it is the only stroke where the legs push the body forward and all the other strokes the arms pull the body through the water.